Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2023 Rebilas Photography Grand National Series here at the Daytona International Speedway. Tonight is the McConey Setup Shop 300. My name is Robert Hill Jr. Joining me tonight, as always, in this series is Chris Wright. Chris, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I am doing great. Excited to get the season started. What about you, Robert? You ready to get this thing on the road?
Man, it feels like the offseason did not exist this year. It went really quickly. Of course, we had a couple extra series. We had the ARCA series, and we also dipped into a nice 6-hour race as well.
I was going to say, the offseason ended like 3 weeks ago for me. I've been racing.
Absolutely. As qualifying has just ended here, it does appear that the cars going home tonight, we will start 45 for those of you watching at home. So it looks like Alexander Gray, Dave Carpenter, Michael Klein, Robert Smith, Jesse Rasmus, and Brandon Ultra will be the cars going home tonight. So
I have a question. Are you sure? Because Ultra might be locked in, right? Because of the point situation. Is that
you know what? That's exactly correct. So we'll have to wait here and see what happens. I'm just going to take a quick look at those locked in. Good call, Chris. There, Brandon Ultra is in. So David Tooker also in. So that would potentially knock out. Looks like Kynan and Brent Jones may be going home.
I believe he's called Gray. Robert Smith, I believe those three have been told they are out.
Klein, Gray, Smith is what I'm hearing. We'll continue to watch and see who is actually going home here tonight as we wait for that update from Chad Frankenfield. But Chris, obviously Daytona last night, we kicked off the Stay Tuned Truck Series with a great race at Daytona. It was Corey Abbott taking home the victory, his first elite victory over myself. Very close battle there. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the race at all, Chris, but it was quite the battle out there in the Truck Series.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if I'd call it a great race. There was about 8 or 10 trucks left. It was
a great race for me, Chris.
I believe they're saying Brent Jones missed the race too.
It does appear Brent Jones, Kynan Jones, Alex Gray, Michael Klein, and Robert Smith are the 5 going home. Is that what you're hearing as well, Chris?
It's like Gray, Brent Jones, Michael Klein. Those 3 have missed.
So we'll continue to watch to see who does get sent home. We do apologize here. As you'll see,
Yari, Robert Smith, right there. They're gone. They're out.
You see Yari Brupacher is one of those going home?
Yari and Robert Smith.
Yari Brupacher, Robert Smith going home tonight. As you just saw on the screen, those were test messages from Race Control. We'll have a live feed from the Race Control booth tonight. It is Nick Massey on the controls over there as we wait for the field to grid. Just taking a little bit longer than usual, just sorting out. Of course, we have a large field here tonight, but Chris, why don't we go ahead and read the grid as we have it? And, of course, we may see some changes a little bit further on, but Tyler Fody, Latham Joyner, your front row here tonight. Jeff Green alongside his Do Good Motorsports teammate Dustin Doer on row number 2. Josh Robin, Jay Kaner, row number 3 tonight. Gerald Campbell alongside Brandon Key. And it's Tate Lytle and Trey Holmes rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and at P11 we have Johnny Thomas, a previous Daytona 500 winner. P12 we have Sean Ryan, then we have Andrew Rucker, Josh Adams, and Nick Delicato in the top 15. R.C. Enerson, Seth Rawls, Michael Hosack, Caleb Thompson, Wesley Crump round out the top 20.
21st tonight we have Jacob Adams alongside Rory Collins in row number 11. Row 12, we see a Leighton Norgard and Ethan Stanley side by side there. Then we have Joshua Personette alongside Garrison Hogan, with Wyatt Knadel and Matthew Weeks just behind them. And rounding out the top 30 this evening, Cameron Rich and Mike Goodman.
Yeah, in 31st, we have Jess Story, followed by Justin Vandermeer, Ty McTosh, Harrison Callan, and Tyler Pop. McIntosh?
Yes, McIntosh.
I do not see an A in there. Just saying.
McIntosh, there you go.
Then we have Chad Frankenfield, Scott Haney, Andrew Hardcastle, Scott Crump, and Casey Hatch running at the top 40.
Back here is where things get a little bit different with some guys not making the race tonight. That'll get updated as we go along, but qualified 41st tonight, Josh Smith, alongside Yari Brupacher, who we do believe has been sent home, Brent Jones, Kynan Jones, David Tooker, Alex Gray, Dave Carpenter, Michael Klein, Robert Smith, Jesse Rasmus, and Brandon Ultra round out your qualifiers tonight as we send it down to the starter to get our 2023 A season underway. Green flag in hand. Here we go, Chris.
Tyler Fody with a big jump here on the start.
Tyler Fody alongside Latham Joyner on the front row. Just behind them, of course, the do-good cars, Jeff Green and Dustin Dewar. And just an update for those at home, it does look like Yari Brupacher, Kynan Jones, Robert Smith, Alex Gray, Brent Jones, and Michael Klein were the cars to not make tonight's event, as we do see Tyler Fody leading the way in the Blue Egg Marketing number 40 machine. New colors on that car this season.
Yeah, we'll hit on some changes through this race. I believe we haven't hit on our sponsor reach yet. We'll hit on some changes there when it comes to sponsorship and whatnot through the night. But as for right now, Tyler Fody has the lead. He will lead the first lap of the season.
As you do see Fody up front over Green, Joyner right there battling as well. We see Gerald Campbell joining the mix as well in 5th place on the bottom 3rd row there. Just behind them, we do see Tate Lytle. This guy won just about everything last season, and he's currently finding himself up 3 spots from the start alongside Jay Kaner there. As we do just have a little quick stutter. We'll get that all fixed up here. Just behind them, we do see Mountain Man Motorsports driver Brandon Key alongside Johnny Thomas in his familiar belly up sports colors, looking real nice out there on track.
Yeah, lots of new schemes out here, lots of new... Not a lot of team movement, though, I don't believe, this past season. Not like we've seen in years past. Mostly everybody's staying put. Got some new sponsors, new teams, new paint schemes. Everybody wanting to show it off here for Daytona.
Absolutely. Everyone trying to show off their new looks. We do have a couple new teams in the field this season. Of course, looking towards the front of the field.
Latham just about gets turned right at the very front.
That was a big jump to the bottom by Kaner. Looks like, I'm watching Kaner here almost into the side of Gerald Campbell. Jay Kaner on a new team this season, KOR or Core Motorsports. They are looking pretty good out here tonight. Just behind them, Brandon Key, like I mentioned, driving for Mountain Man Motorsports. That is my team, Chris. We have a lot of guys out here tonight, but they're looking pretty good as well. And I do see Shift Esports a little bit further back in the field. That is Nick Indelicato in that number 10 car. Seth Rawls as well, and a few others throughout the field. But nice to see some new names, new faces, and new sponsors out here.
Yeah, and what's nice is how clean this thing has started so far. Had one little close call, but I was worried. You know, we're getting ready for Speed Weeks. I watched that truck race last night, and I did not like what I seen there, and I was kind of nervous for the week, but...
Yeah, you know, looking at last night's race, it was a bit of a mess. We saw a fair bit of incidents throughout, but so far looks like the field kind of staying double file throughout, just out for a little bit of a stroll, trying to do whatever they can. As we do see Jacob Adams here, the number 52 machine. He is right behind the 25 Seth Rawls. We see R.C. Anderson, Ethan Stanley there as well. Ethan Stanley's had one heck of an offseason from these main series, Chris, has He's taken 2 of the 3 opening rounds in the Pit Pass Network ARCA series that we've been running on Tuesday nights, and I think he's got a bit of confidence heading into this season.
Yeah, he's a good driver. He was really good in F1, had a shot at that. Now he's on the ARCA series. He's a guy that's definitely on the rise, and it's a hot commodity, right? You want to get those young free agents, and I believe he left his team, so I believe he is open for business as far as negotiating with new team.
Yeah, just in recent weeks after his victory on Tuesday night, he did leave his race team, as we do see a battle or a change for the lead. Sorry, it is Jeff Green up front with help from the blinking Dustin Dewar. Dewar continuing to blink up front, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Race Control certainly has a watchful eye on that number 32 machine. But if you are in the position of Jay Kaner there on the outside of that second row, you got to be a little bit worried about the blinking ahead of you, as that is not what you want to see.
Yeah, at Daytona especially, you don't want to see some blinking. We saw a blink cause an issue in the truck race last night. So you don't want to be around that, and you definitely don't want to be that guy that's blinking.
Absolutely not. As we just look through the field here, see a couple positions just getting shuffled about. One car I just noticed, Scott Crump here, brand new paint scheme on that number 90 machine. That's going to be something to get used to. We're used to his blue car, and he's out here in white and red this season, so that's going to be something to watch throughout the year.
Yeah, and Scott's a good driver. He's going to be there in the fight all season. You can probably take that to the bank.
You can
But
most
at Daytona,
definitely, you can most definitely take it to the bank everywhere except for these super speedways, as you know that we do have another lead change up front, like you mentioned. Latham Joyner, help from Tyler Fody and Dustin Dewar to get by the 38 of Jeff Green. Jeff Green does not seem to have the best of luck when it comes to these super speedways, Chris.
They've got the 9 car here hung out to dry on the top.
Yeah, we do have a car falling back on the high side. I think that is the 9 car, like you mentioned. No, not sure who that blue car was.
It is Sean Ryan.
There we go.
Something
yeah,
doesn't match up there. We got something going on there.
Yeah, Sean Ryan has a number 9 on his car. He is the number 47, so that will have to get sorted out for next week, as things are getting a little bit interesting up front here. Jeff Green to the top now in front of Fody. Latham Joyner on the bottom with help from Gerald Campbell. As we see Green battling side by side there. Looks like Campbell got a little bit wobbly on the bottom. Nearly had an incident there, but continuing on without too much stress. It is Jeff Green continuing to be your race leader here. Tyler Fody wants to get back in front, but we are only on lap number 10 of 120 here tonight. And of course, many cars in the field here with us this evening.
Yeah, and the fuel window is about 45 laps or so, so it is not going to be a one-stop race. It's going to be at least 2. I'm very curious to see when everybody decides to pit, how it breaks down. But the first 10 laps... Oh, we've got almost trouble back right in front of Brandon Ultra.
Taking a look back here, we do see the Ultra machine, Brandon Ultra, right behind the 14 of Casey Hatch. Looks like things have broken off a little bit for these guys. A little bit of a gap up to David Tooker in the number 19 and Wesley Crump in the 16. We do see multiple cars kind of split off into various groups here. As you see, here's the end of the first group. Back to Hatch and Ultra. Then a gap to Hogan, Talon, Hardcastle, Collins, Cameron Rich there on the bottom as well, and Personette trying to join the battle as well. And you know what? Let's give a shout out to this car right here. if we can get a good view of the car. That 84 machine got Hux on board this season. Of course, that is Dave Huckleberry sponsoring the White Canadian machine. So shout out to Dave Huckleberry. He joined us a little bit earlier, hanging out with us from England, as he decided he wanted some tea and crumpets rather than racing fuel tonight.
Yeah, and it looks like what happened to Andrew Hardcastle there. He got taken 3 wide and was surprised by it, and went up and hit the wall. Came back down. Everybody was able to miss him. Casey Hatch did a great job missing him. But that all happened right. I just knew Brandon Ultra's car, and that was the only one I knew for sure that was where it was at. Everybody else got these new schemes. Ultra's still out here showing off the petty cars.
Yeah, Brandon Ultra still rocking the Petty 45 out there running the bottom right now. You see him around Jess Story, David Tooker, and the rest of the field, as we do see a car blinking there. I'm not sure who that was. But, yeah, it's going to take some getting used. It was actually Scott Crump that appeared to be blinking there. So, new season, same Scott Crump.
Now wait a minute, his blinking problems went away for the most of last year.
That's true, Chris. Of course, we did see his blinking problems get a little bit better.
A lot better
throughout the season.
No Scott Crump slander until he starts blinking consistently.
That's right. As we look just ahead of the leaders here, we do see a lap car coming up.
Campbell, what happened there to Gerald?
Taking a look.
That's really going to hurt the inside lane.
Trying to find Gerald Campbell here. Gerald's still there. It looked like he entered pit road on our updates here. Let's take a look and see what happened on the Mark J. Rebilas photography replay machine. Watching that 31 third car on the inside line. And that is Gerald Campbell right behind Latham Joyner. Looks like he just got maybe a little bit too close to Joyner. Backed out of it to try not to wreck them, and backed it up just a little bit too much. But as you saw the field go by there, that was the 04 machine of Caleb Thompson. Unfortunately lost the draft, now finds himself a lap down, and he'll have to work his way back up, as I do believe the next car in line here may indeed be Jesse Rasmus. Yes, it is, as we see the leaders coming up on him here shortly. We'll actually ride on board with Jeff Green just behind Tyler Fody here. We'll see what we can see out here as these guys navigate through the lapped car of Rasmus. So many J names out here.
And one thing of note is that lapper did get in line in the middle of this pack, which could be good or bad, because you need a caution. But now that you're in the pack, so if a caution happens, you're going to have to dodge it. But at the same time, you kind of want to be in that lucky dog spot. It's a tough spot to be in.
As we watch Jesse Rasmus just falling back a little bit through the field. He is one lap down, of course, here tonight.
Looks like he's holding his own up there. He's got the lapper coming up behind him now. Will he try to stay in front of this lapper that he's racing for the lucky dog, or will he just fall on back?
Yeah, you kind of have to be smart about it too, Chris. Of course, you know this as well as I do. These guys are very smart drivers. Jesse Rasmus, he's been out here for quite some time. He's just going to fall into line rather than race it out.
And here we go. The do-good cars are lined up. I was wondering how long it would take those boys to get lined up, knowing that they were teammates. You could just sense that they wanted to get together, and here they are. It finally happened.
As we ride on the roof here of the number 32 of Dustin Dewar, you see him coming back onto the rear end of Jeff Green, trying to get a bit of a run, but looks like Fody may have a little bit more help with Latham Joyner on the bottom there. But now we do see Green getting a bit of a run here on the outside of Tyler Fody, trying to do everything in his power to work his way up into the race lead. Looks like Jeff may have got a little bit wiggly in the corners. Tyler Fody now back up into the race lead here. Lap 17 of 120 in the McConey Setup Shop 300 here at Daytona. The season opener of the Mark Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. We got to get used to that one, Chris, as well.
Yeah, and for those of you watching at home, that is 2000 Busch champ Jeff Green, who just absolutely destroyed the field that year. But what a lot of people forget, Daytona wasn't such a great story. I believe he did a little tumble here and still whooped those boys that year to win the championship. So if anybody knows about it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That was about his only bad race that year, I believe.
Yeah, Jeff Green knows what he's doing out here. Very solid driver, of course, has had his fair share of misfortunes at racetracks such as Daytona, Talladega, as have all the pros. I mean, like everyone out here as well, of course.
Now Josh Robin just made a move mid-pack that if it was the Cup car, it is the move. The Xfinity car, he's going to go backwards. He pulled to the outside of 3 wide, had the momentum, got all the way up alongside the 92, and now he's backing up. That's what's going to be tonight. You're not going to want to go to the outside of 3 wide, but that Cup car, that's what you're going to want. You're going to want to be up higher. You're going to, with the way the side draft works, you're going to see a totally different kind of race here Wednesday night for the duels. It's going to be way more exciting in some ways, but in other ways, it's not going to be as exciting as we got a big check up here on the front stretch.
As we saw Josh Robin on the high side 3 wide. Of course, these cars are pretty wide, Chris. So when you get 3 wide, it can get a little bit sketchy, as we do see just a little bit of shuffling for position here back around the Frankenfield and Adams cars. Of course, all throughout the field here. Looks like the Shift Esports cars, Nick Indelicato, Ty McIntosh, Seth Rawls, all trying to fall to the back, and that's something we got to watch too.
One's on the apron here. See, that's what's bad about doing what they just did. You cannot do that and then try to blend back up in front of cars. If you do that, you've got to do a job of getting yourself to the back. Blending back up into the pack, almost causing a wreck, forcing people to check up, that's going to cause wrecks. So they got to be a little smarter about pulling out of line like that and doing a better job than what they just did right there.
Especially when you are, I don't want to say when you're new, but when you don't necessarily have the allies in the field that'll move and give you a hole to move up, it does get a little hard for somebody such as Nick Indelicato to work his way back up onto the track. Is, looking back at Indelicato, that is a huge gap from Scott Haney. Now Indelicato finds himself in 43rd, and it is very easy to lose multiple laps here. Of course, cautions do happen here. We don't have any stage cautions, and actually just quickly, we'll pull up the race format here for those at home. 120 laps here tonight, no stages, as I mentioned, 7 sets of tires, so they started with 1. They have 6 sets in the pits, so we may see some tire stops throughout the race. That will be up to the drivers, of course. Let's take a look a little bit further back in the field, go back around the 30th position. We do see Jess Story back here in the 29.
Wow, Jeff Green just cut to the bottom in front of that inside lane and forced him to check up.
Yes,
he was barely clear.
Some dicey moves at the front. Jeff Green trying to get everything he can out of that number 38 machine.
And Stanley with the big cross move down there on the front stretch as well.
Take a look a little bit further back, like you mentioned, Ethan Stanley. Try to grab him on the camera here. That number 92 on the bottom, that black car, looks like on his outside is the 56 of Josh Adams. Adams was the winner of the 2022 B season finale. So definitely was nice to see Adams get a victory late in the season, but he's hoping to start off strong here tonight by picking up a victory. But, just taking a look through the field, like I mentioned, a little bit further back in the pack, we find Jess Story, the 29. He's chasing down Casey Hatch and Rory Collins. Looks like Jeff Green may have had a moment at the front as well here. Chris, Seth Rawls, it just indicated that he was pitting, but I believe he just had himself a little bit of a moment as the battle up front continues to charge on here. These guys are racing really hard.
Yeah, they're getting more and more comfortable. You felt it out. Now it's time to do a little bit of racing. You hit on Josh Adams there. He's returning, hoping to be in the title fight. And his brother and our friend Jacob Adams is hoping to get back into the swing of things. He had a newborn baby, new dad there, Jake Adams, and missed a lot of the B season because of having the new baby. So he's trying to get all that figured out. But nonetheless, both those guys in the off season here this past week won a Daytona 24 hours race there for iRacing, and a big event that happens once a year. So kudos to those guys. It was a lot of fun to be a part of that with Nick Massey and
Yeah, Josh Adams, Jake Adams, and Nick Massey, of course, picking up the victory in the Daytona 24. I think you might have had something to do with that race, Chris. Maybe serving cookies, or what were you up to in that race?
You know, I was just happy to be part of it. It was a lot of fun. We had a great time. Always a fun time to get to race with your buddies, and it's not very often you all get to win together like that. So it was a really great time. I know that there were some other guys and other elite teams that ran that didn't get as fortunate as us to be around at the end and be able to go win the thing, but I think all four of us would agree that's probably one of the highlights of our iRacing career, and we're already counting down the days to next year.
Yeah, we took part in it. I was fortunate to be part of the Fueled Up Racing entry for the Daytona 24 hour. That was with Justin Vandermarl, Daniel Martinez, and Harrison Talon, along with myself. We unfortunately did get caught up in a couple incidents that caused some severe damage to the car, really making it undrivable. But, everything you can accomplish in that race just feels really special. It's one of those races that has that factor to it, that anything you can do on that track and succeed, it's just a real great moment.
And it's hard to do for 24 hours. It's hard to be clean for 24 hours. It's hard to miss everything when, there's 50 plus cars out there, and somebody can make a mistake, and then it's 24 hours long, so like you can get tired of making a mistake. Like it's real easy to run the first 6 or 8 hours, but then it starts to drag, and you're kind of just running, and you're just trying to make lap, and it was a lot of fun to be part of a clean race and whatnot. And now it's time to move along here. We got Daytona this week. We got this race today. We got the ARCA race tomorrow night. Also at Daytona, you got the duels on Wednesday, and Daytona, baby. That's what's up.
Yeah, we kick off the Classic Series on Thursday as well. Of course, that is not at Daytona, but another great series that we're going to be kicking off here on the Elite Racing Network. And, that's trying to fill the gap left by another open wheel series that's going to remain unmentioned here. But just kind of taking a look through the field, we're going to ride on board with a couple cars here.
Oh, the 9 just got up into the 940, whatever number, just got up into the wall a little bit.
Yeah, the whatever car there of Sean Ryan. Looks like he got caught in the outside wall, comes down in front of Tooker. We have one of the Mountain Man Motorsports cars going to the top there.
New collars on his car. And this is not the first Elite Racing event of the season. We did have some fireworks the other night at the Clash.
We definitely had fireworks at the Clash. Gerald Campbell was en route to picking up his first victory in quite some time, of course, unofficial victory. I just saw a big puff of smoke out back.
The 16 took a blink.
16 running, the blinking runs in that family, unfortunately, as Wesley Crump had his moment there. But, ooh, somebody just took a big dive to the bottom. I believe that might have been a Leighton Norgard. Yes.
Yeah, the Clash was a lot of fun. Like you said, Gerald was winning it going into 3. And then things happened, and Tyler Fody crossed the line first, and Nick Massey was running 6 going down into turn 3 on the last lap, came across the line second. They took the win away from Tyler Fody and gave it to Nick Massey, so Nick Massey won the Clash without ever leading an inch of the race.
Yeah, Nick Massey had a little bit of luck on his side there as he took the victory in the Clash. Brandon Key to the apron here. Big wreck.
Here. Trouble. The 32 The 31.
Josh Adams involved. I just saw him around. Harrison Talon sliding back up the
Few weeks
racetrack.
involved.
Weeks involved. Justin Vandermeer involved. I think Casey Hatch might have avoided that. Jay Kaner involved. Garrison Hogan was
I think
involved.
Josh Adams is okay. Tate Lytle's spinning in the grass. Not sure if he hit anything.
Let's take a look on the Rebilas photography replay machine. Multiple cars involved in this wreck. We'll try to find the start of it. I think it was around the Brandon Key machine.
Yeah, just can't push 3 deep. And then Gerald checked up and churned Key, got into the 32, got into the 9. Key survived. Ethan Stanley gets a big piece of it. I'll tell you what, somehow Josh Adams, wow.
Taking a look here, Brandon Key does unfortunately get hooked by Gerald Campbell up the track into both the 32 and the 9. That's Jay Kaner. I think Trey Holmes grabs a little slice of the action as well. Wow, who was Ethan Stanley just gets through. Josh Adams involved. I think that's Scott Crump, Matthew Weeks.
Look how lucky Josh Adams gets. Like, I am telling you what, if you get churned at the wall, sitting in the middle of the track, running around 10th place, somehow everybody got around him without clobbering. Josh Adams is going to be able to continue on in this race, and he'll be just fine. That car is fine.
Chris, we have to ride on board with Ethan Stanley. Let me just grab his view here. Watch this. So we see the initial contact.
One of the trigger cars there.
Looks like he gave a little bit of push to Gerald. You see Key get up into the 32 and the 9, and watch Ethan Stanley get through this. Just barely misses the 9 of Jay Kaner and is able to get through with minimal damage, if any, on board that number 92 machine. But we are under caution here. Caution number 1 of the day on lap 32, Chris. We're going to send it to our friends at TA Services, and we'll be right back here with the McConey Setup Shop 300. And we are back here at Daytona. It is the McConey Setup Shop 300. That was our friends over at TA Services. And of course, we also have to thank our premier partner, Blue Egg Marketing. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blue Egg is your biggest fan. And of course, our newest premier partner here at Elite Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is formerly known as Gateway Motorsports Racing Facility just east of St. Louis, Missouri in Madison, Illinois, home to a 1.25-mile oval housing the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and the Open Wheel Series that'll remain unnamed, as well as a 2-mile infield road course, which is used by Trans Am, SCCA, and the Porsche Club of America, as well as a quarter-mile NHRA-sanctioned drag strip housing the Camping World Drag Racing Series Midwest Nationals event at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And of course, this is the McConey Setup Shop 300. McConey is your home for the best setups in the business. Be sure to head over to McConeySetupShop.com and check out their setups today. Of course, McConey Entertainment, housing many great series as well. Check them out. And thank you to Jeff McConey for coming on board as the presenting partner of tonight's race. But just quickly, does look like the lights are off on the pace car here, Chris. Wow, what an opening run for these guys.
Yeah, that was a great opening run. The pit window is about 45 laps, so should be one stop from here.
Yeah, it looks like about one more stop. No, No, I think we may need 2 more stops, Chris, just to make it to the end. We're
Well,
only on lap
88 divided by
33
2.
of 120.
88 divided by 2, right? It's like, what, 42,
42.
43?
Yeah, it could be close. Flag is back in the hand of Barney the Flagman Green, and we are underway. Latham Joyner, Tyler Fode, your front row once again. Now we have Gerald Campbell and Ethan Stanley in row number 2. Tate Lytle, R.C. Anderson there in row number 3 with Trey Holmes, Wesley Crump, Sean Ryan, and Johnny Thomas rounding out the top 10. Just taking a look, it does look like Andrew Hardcastle, Jay Kaner are out of the event. Everyone else seems to be continuing on out here.
Yeah, we were very lucky to dodge a bullet. That wreck could have been way bigger than what it was. But here we sit, and I believe I see a 84 Dave Huck machine making its way up towards the front.
As you see, Wyatt the Candle Canadle up top here, driving the number 84 Huck's machine on the outside of Josh Personette in the number 18. That is currently putting Wyatt in the 17th spot. So Wyatt slowly working his way up through the field. Harrison Talon just trying to block the lines back here. Jeff Green, we now find back in the 20th position, making a move on Talon for 19th. So a lot of work for Jeff Green to get back up there. And one thing I just want to point out, somebody that really benefited from this caution, Nick Indelicato in the number 10 car. You know, he lost the draft earlier before the caution came out when Shift Esports ducked to the bottom. Maybe they sensed something coming and made that move. So if that's the case, then smart move by Shift Esports. But Nick Indelicato, the beneficiary of that caution indeed.
Yeah, and I keep seeing Josh Robin trying to find his way to the front. He keeps looking 3 wide, high, low, kind of just poking around. I think he doesn't run many races. He does basically just the super speedways.
Yeah, Josh
Just doesn't
Robin.
have time to get on here and make laps and try to get into a rhythm at some of these other places. He's a busy man. I believe he's a farmer, so just comes out for these super speedways there.
Farmer Robin driving the number 8 machine for Lake Norman Motorsports, trying to work his way up towards the front, running 14th right now in his number 8 car. A little tribute to Dale Earnhardt Jr. here, which we may see next week in the Daytona 500, Chris.
Well, I mean, I guess maybe. There's always a chance, right?
Absolutely. Will we see you in the Daytona 500, Chris?
Oh, I'm locked in, buddy, this year. We are in. Doesn't matter what happens. I could qualify dead ass last, finish last. We'll still get to start the race next week. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited for the 500 next week. I'm so happy and relieved to be locked in. Last year, you know, the story was well told. We finished second in our duel. Still didn't get to make the race. Ended up getting in at the 11th hour. People not being able to show up, so it worked out, I guess. We had a good run. And this year, no pressure of trying to make the show. Just getting to go out and race and have fun in the duels. It's going to be a totally different kind of duels. As Matthew Weeks has loaded his car on the track. Oh, we got R.C. Enerson, Gerald Campbell spinning down the backstretch. Caution. Oh, this has gotten big.
Oh,
The
no.
84. Jacob Adams is in it.
Multiple cars. I think Tate Lytle got a piece of that. He's sitting on the back straightaway. Wyatt Canadle involved. We see Garrison Hogan involved. R.C. Anderson, Tyler Popp, Brandon Key once again, Gerald Campbell. Let's take a look.
Jeff Green is destroyed.
Taking a look on the Rebilas photography replay machine here. We'll see what happened to bring out the wreck. It's showing that it started around Dustin Dewar and Scott Crump, but we'll see if that is indeed the case.
I believe Tate Lytle was the trigger here.
Let's back this up just a wee bit further and find Mr. Lytle. We'll back that up again. Looks like, I believe that's Garrison, no, that's Wesley Crump behind Tate Lytle here. Looks like Tate gets up to the rear bumper of Ethan Stanley. Wesley Crump gets into the back of him, knocks Tate down the track into both RC and Gerald Campbell. We'll go out a little bit further.
Nowhere for Jeff to go.
Johnny
Scott
Thomas
Crump,
gets a
heavy
little bit of
damage.
air there. I don't know if you saw that one.
Tooker met his teammate Tate. His car's destroyed.
Jake Adams gets through. Wyatt Canadle gets into Leighton Norgard. Yeah, Jeff piles into it. Looks like the 62, I believe it is. Gets into Scott Crump. The 19 of Tooker. Cameron Rich just squeaks by. We'll go on board with him in a moment. As, wow, these guys just continue to pile in the back. Scott Haney does a nice job keeping off of Casey Hatch. Hatch just squeaks by. That's a big one right there. But we'll ride on board with Cameron Rich here in a second. I saw a great view from his car. As we see the wreck developing up ahead. Slows it down. Just squeaks by. They're all wrecking around him, and he just slides right through.
Yeah, and if my math is correct here, that was not a very good wreck there for Pro Edge Racing.
No, what I am seeing right now out of the Pro Edge camp on track at this moment is just Josh Adams, Chris.
RC spun. I don't think he hit anything. He was in the
Everyone
wreck.
else, including RC Anderson, remains on pit road. Let's get a closer look at the Anderson machine here. Looks like a bit of right front damage. He's going to come back out, but we'll have to keep an eye on the damage on that car. Wyatt Canadle's coming back out in the Huck machine. Nick and Delicato entering the track again. Wesley Crump. Here's Scott Haney, Garrison Hogan, Brandon Key. These guys all re-entering the track. We'll go back here. Look at the Tate Lytle machine. You could briefly see that from our drone camera, looking heavily damaged. Looks like a Leighton Norgard coming back on track. Caleb
Tate's a
Thompson.
guy that he might come give us an interview. I tell all these guys, hey, if you wreck out, come on up, give us an interview, tell us about what happened, shout your sponsors out. It's the first race of the year. The door is always open here in the booth.
Absolutely. We have an open door policy in our booth, so whoever does want to join us and have a word is more than welcome. But wow, Chris, that was a big one.
Yeah, that was a big one. It could have been worse. Some guys dodged a bullet, some guys,
Some guys dodged a bullet, some guys were the bullet.
I don't think Tate's had a good speed week so far.
Tate Lytle wrecked out early in the truck race. Incident here in the Grand National race. Hoping for some luck on Wednesday night in the Cup duels. As Tate is, I do believe, still on pit road. Yes, he is. Yeah, Pro Edge took a bit of a beating there. We did have an update from Race Control Nick Massey. That was a racing incident. So no tally has been issued there. And just to reset the stage for you guys here, current race leader on the bottom is actually Tyler Fody, Latham Joyner on his outside. Then we see Ethan Stanley in the 92 with Trey Holmes in the 88 on his outside. Chad Frankenfield along with Josh Smith there in row number 3. Then we have Brandon Ultra, Cameron Rich, Jess Story, and Josh Adams rounding out the top 10. And look who's just right there, Jake Adams. We did have pit stops right there, Chris.
For everybody?
Just about everyone, except for the top 10. Top 10 did not pit. We're going to hand it back down to the flagman, green flag in hand. And it's Tyler Fody back in control here with help from Ethan Stanley.
Tyler Fody gets away. Bright new colors for Fody.
Absolutely new colors on board the number 40 car of Tyler Fody. Looking pretty good out there. Nice new look for him. Ethan
Chad
Stanley,
Frankenfield also.
same old
You know.
look, but Chad Frankenfield, yes, new colors on the number 15 car. On the outside, that's Josh Smith. We haven't really seen him too much. Seen him a couple times, but not a ton in the series. Of course, Cameron Rich making his series debut tonight for Mountain Man Motorsports. Currently running up in 8th, so good job by Cameron Rich. And good job by all of these guys that are still in the race at this point. I mean, we've had quite a bit of attrition. Many guys have seen damage so far in this race, and they're just hoping.
We've seen a couple small ones. We're just sitting here with.
I'd say we've seen some medium ones, Chris.
Tate Lytle, David Tooker, Scott Crump, Matthew. So Pro Edge is really having a rough go, but outside of that, it's just a couple other cars.
As we see Tate Lytle back on track, his car looking a little bit slower. Actually, leaders, I do believe, are coming up on Tate Lytle. No, he's a fair bit ahead here. As we ride on board, we'll go with Trey Holmes here, riding behind the Latham Joyner machine, trying to push him out front. But, of course, Tyler Fode's done a really nice job here tonight, holding the lead and really controlling the front of this race.
Yeah, Fode has came out tonight and said the best place to be is in the lead, but I don't think he was still in the race last night, but I watched the leader get churned from the second place car last night in the truck race to cause one of those wrecks, so I'm convinced that nowhere is safe. It's just about, where that nuke goes off.
That's exactly it. And looking through the field, some guys that have been involved in wrecks, multiple wrecks even, still running in this event. I'm not just pointing this guy out because he runs for my team, but Brandon Key, I think, has been caught up in every single wreck tonight, and he still finds himself just outside the top 15 as they're wrecking behind.
RC.
RC, Scott Haney, Wyatt Canadle. There's Shifty Sports, Justin Vandermarl.
Oh, the 10 car hit the inside wall hard, and if you're keeping tabs, Pro Edge is now down another car because that 50 is destroyed.
Let's take a look here, see what happened. I think it did start around potentially the Wyatt Canadle machine. Watching for the Hux number 84 car. No, it starts Johnny a little bit further ahead.
Johnny Thomas got into that one as well. I'll tell you, man, it looked like RC was going to go to the top of 3 wide. The 3 checked up for the 18. I really don't think there was a hole up there for RC. I don't know. The 3 kind of came up.
Just absolutely nowhere for half of these guys to go. Let's take a ride on board with Justin Vandermarl, one of the late entries into this wreck. And his engine, I do believe, is toast.
Yeah, lots. This right here had a lot of destroyed cars in it.
Locks down the brakes, and then you see, I do believe that's Tooker. Yes, David Tooker comes down the track, and unfortunately for Justin Vandermarl, he gets caught up in that wreck. So damage on the 5. He does appear to be out of the race here tonight.
Yeah, I think after that wreck, the 5, the 50. Now the 50's still running. 38 is also still running. Neither has a nose. The 5's already on pit road. That wreck's got a lot of guys that are really tore up in it.
Yeah, really unfortunate for quite a few cars. I mean, you mentioned it, Pro Edge Racing. They got hardly anybody left. I mean, they have Josh Adams and I think Josh Adams. Yeah, Tate Lytle's still in the race physically, but he is not going to be competitive at this point with the damage he has. And just an update.
He's a lucky dog, though, so it's going to be longer before he goes 6 laps down.
That is true. Just an update. Tally issued Scott Haney, number 3 machine. So very, very unfortunate for the field to get caught up in that. I'm working to get an interview here with one of the drivers. We'll see if he joins us.
The owner of Pro Edge, because he's got to write a big old check tonight.
We do have Justin Vandermarl, driver of the number 5 for Fueled Up Racing, standing by. We're going to go ahead and pull him into the booth now. Justin Vandermarl, what happened out there, buddy?
I didn't really see much of the first wreck until there was a 11 car in front of me. Kind of got run over a bunch of times after the fact, and then I was sitting on the apron and I couldn't stop by the time I saw him. The other 2 wrecks, I honest to God have no idea. It's just, cautions breed cautions, your typical plate racing at this point. And I mean, a lot of good cars are killed because of it, which obviously sucks. And, I have nothing to say other than good luck to my teammates that are so fortunate to not have any damage at this point in the race. We didn't even make it to halfway, I think, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, still about 12 laps to halfway. Many, many damaged cars here on the racetrack, but Justin, not the race you wanted to start the season, that's for sure. But we know that we'll see you battling for victories, hopefully, by the end of the season.
Yeah, and go ahead and give your
Hopefully,
sponsors a shout out here too, man.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Are you done? Are you loading up and heading home here?
The 5 team is loading up and heading home. Yeah, unfortunately, this is just the way plate racing seems to go for us. But I want to, thank everyone at Fueled Up Racing and Interstate Batteries for the support this weekend and for the rest of the season. And we'll come out swinging next time.
That was Justin Vandermarl, driver of the number 5 for Fueled Up Racing. Justin, sorry for your luck tonight, and we will see you on Wednesday night for the duels at Daytona.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, you just hear the disappointment in the voice of Justin Vandermarl there. I was talking with him before the race, Chris, and he was excited for this race tonight. I told him that he was going to have a good shot to win, and unfortunately for him, it all went up in smoke there.
Yeah, well, Daytona and Talladega are 2 places where your chances of wrecking are higher than your chances of winning or finishing well. Just not a whole lot as a driver. You put yourself in a position, you try to put yourself in the best position you can. But like I said, last night in the truck race, the leader got wrecked. So it's all about luck here at Daytona. As green is out, Fody gets away once again, just trying to control this race, because I did tongue-in-cheek talk about the leader getting wrecked, and I talked about it a couple times here. It still is probably the best place to be, is in the lead.
Yeah, you're going to see the strategies of guys that are going to try to stay out front the whole race, and you're going to have the guys that will try to remain right in the back up until go time. And that was my strategy last night in the truck series. I wasn't one that was going for stage points. I wasn't really trying to work my way up there until really late in the event. I restarted with 2 to go in the 7th position and was fortunate enough to come close to picking up the victory. But it'll be interesting to see throughout the event tonight if anyone from the back is able to work their way up and have a real shot. But now with all these damaged cars throughout the field, it's going to get hard to really know who you can stay behind and have a shot to stay with the field, and who really is just going to end up pushing you all the way to the back and getting you stuck there with no help.
Yeah, but one unique thing about Daytona, and I didn't think we had them tonight, but we do, and you might have said that earlier, and I just might not have been paying attention, but this place has stages. They called the end of a stage earlier when the caution came out, one of the cautions, and we're going to have the stages in the 500 too. So I know last year in the 500, I scored like the 7th most points, and I was on the truck headed home when the checker flag flew. I just had some good stages. I think I finished top 3 in all the stages, and so that's going to be a factor. Is, it's hard to go right at the back when you're getting points through the race.
Yeah, speaking of that, like last night in the truck race, we saw Josh Personette end up getting involved in a major wreck early on, took him out of the race. He ended up, I believe, parking with the 6-lap down rule, but he scored so many stage points that he finds himself tied for 4th in the points exiting Daytona. So, like you mentioned, stage points are massive, and if you can take advantage of them, you could finish outside the top 10 and somehow squeak away with the points lead.
Yeah, we don't get stages every week in Elite, so when you do, yeah, if you have 2 good stages, you feel like you can take more chances at the end because you're not going to be losing a ton of points. I mean, you don't want to lose the points. You want to try to win the race. That's the goal.
Winning is always the goal. You do not show up to the track with a goal of finishing 25th or worse. Like, you're here to win. You'll do whatever it takes to win. And, sometimes that's what brings out the cautions.
Yeah, but a lot of times at this point in the race when there's wrecks, it's not really trying to win. It's just accidents. Nobody's really making moves right now thinking that this move is going to win them the race. And you can speak to this too, Robert. You make moves right now to see what happens. What happens if I do this with this kind of run? What happens if I do this? What happens if I do that? Can this work? Can that work? Like Josh Robin has taken every run. He is learning what works, what doesn't work, what he needs, what kind of help he's going to have. You're just making moves now, seeing what in the last 10 laps is going to win you the race.
Yeah, you're going to see guys that'll go from hanging in the back to making a run on the outside, like we see with Robin and Key right now. One thing we got to watch for there is the 33 and 32 getting a little close. 32, Dustin Dewar had a blink there and caused a bit of a bobble. That can get a little scary as we actually see Robin working his way up on the outside.
Oh, the 15, the 92, the 17. Jake Adams is in it. Oh, Jake Adams is destroyed.
Johnny Thomas involved.
Chad's wrecked down here in the bottom of
Frankenfield somewhere on this racetrack. He's done.
But Chad Frankenfield and Jacob Adams are destroyed.
Looking for Jacob Adams on the track. Yellow flag. Yellow flag is in the air. Let's take a look and see what happened. We got a little bit of it on the camera there. As we see here, let's back that up a little bit further. See the 92 of Ethan Stanley there. Grabs a little bit of the apron. I don't know if that... Yeah, you can see him getting sideways here. Frankenfield gets into the back of Stanley. Cameron Rich, with a little bit of help from Brandon Ultra, gets into the rear of Frankenfield. Oh, look, Brandon Key involved in that one again. Unfortunate luck for him. Jesse Rasmus involved. Jacob Adams, like you mentioned. So lots of guys involved in this wreck. Let's kind of see how Jacob Adams got involved. You'll see that developing here.
I just want to point out that I did not think we threw manual cautions. That's a discussion in the lobby. They said that the track was blocked. I do not believe the track was ever blocked. We had this issue arise last year, and I was pretty certain that we don't throw manual cautions, and then we got one. So apparently, that's a rule change. So that's something that we're going to have to keep in the back of our minds moving forward for the rest of the week too. Kind of set the tone right here. We got to stay consistent with these calls.
Yeah, I'm not too sure why they called that caution. You mentioned that they said it's because of the track being blocked. Yeah, you see here Jacob Adams, absolutely no front end left on that thing. Tyler Fody does appear to be staying out, as does Josh Adams. Looks like Trey Holmes, the only car in the top 10 to come down pit road. Looks like Rory Collins, Johnny Thomas, Casey Hatch, Jesse Rasmus also coming down pit road here, Chris.
Let me just say, I don't hate the call of a caution, and I just want us to stay consistent. If we're going to throw cautions, then consistently throw cautions when there's wrecks and the caution doesn't trigger. But we can't ball and strike this. We can't on Wednesday night if there's a wreck in the middle of the pack and there's no caution. We have got to throw caution now moving forward. It's got to stay consistent. We can't call it here and then not call it somewhere else. consistently, this has to be a caution moving forward.
I could not agree more with you, Chris. We need consistency. That is for sure. Tally issued to the 92 of Ethan Stanley on that one. We saw him clip the apron a little bit there, then had help from Frankenfield, sent him around. I'm sure there's going to be a bit of discussion on that, but, of course, everything is up for discussion at all times. We are under caution here, fourth caution of the day. We're going to take another commercial break, and we'll be right back. And we're back here in the McConey Setup Shop 300 season opener for the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. That was our friends over at TA Services, one of our premier partners here in the Elite Racing League. And of course, Blue Egg Marketing is also one of our great premier partners here. Blue Egg is the marketing department for small businesses. Blue Egg helps businesses punch above their weight class. And Worldwide Technology Raceway, which is the home to NASCAR, open wheel, as well as many road courses and NHRA drag strip, just east of the Gateway Arches in Missouri. So we are going to go ahead and bring up Jacob Adams here, Chris, who's standing by for an interview with you.
Yeah, we are now joined by Jacob Adams. Jake, we saw you miss one wreck, we saw you miss two wrecks, and you even queued up and said probably not going to get lucky a third time. It didn't take you long to be right, but talk about what you saw there.
Yeah, I really didn't get to see a whole lot of much. I saw a bunch of smoke going into turn 3. I got on the brakes, and I don't know, I think they just started braking a lot harder in front of me, and I got onto whoever was in front of me, and we kind of all got sandwiched up into the wall, and I don't know. We'll see if it's got anything left.
So you are not loading up and headed home? You're going to try to fix it, get out here and score some points?
Yeah, no, I got to looking it over, and I decided we might be able to hang in the draft if we have some help, so rolled back out there. Lap down, but we'll see what we got.
Well, all right, Jake, good luck out here the rest of the race, and you never know what might happen. Tate Lytle's still running around out here and trying to chug along and get a good finish. Might still end up with the top 10 in this thing, but thanks for coming up and talking to it. Cut that one short so that driver could go out there and focus. He's back out on track rolling.
Yeah, Jacob Adams, we took a look at his car here. They put a nose back on that thing, so I'm a little surprised to see him back out there. A pleasant surprise, of course, and as of right now, does look like he's able to hang with the pack ahead of him. Of course, we got to wait for the cars to wind up a little bit, and temperatures are something that he's going to have to keep an eye on as well. But really,
he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because he left so quick and got back out there. But I'll shout out his sponsorship, his Bass Pro, Johnny Morris, trying to put them in victory lane at Daytona again, and he's not giving up hope on that dream just yet.
Absolutely, and Jacob is one of our newest drivers on my team, Mountain Man Motorsports, so I'm really glad to have him on board, and I hope to see big things out of him this year in his return from a brief break when he became a dad. So, best of luck to Jacob on the track here tonight. Really glad to see that he's sticking it out. And, I mean, when I was looking through the field, I saw him modified out there in that Hux machine. So, actually, RC looks like a bit of a modified as well. So, if they can do it, then Jacob can certainly do it as well.
Yeah, we'll have to see. And this race is still a long way from over. Still just one pit stop left at some point. Don't know when you make that pit stop, but
yeah, 2 laps away from halfway. One thing to note, the top 10 or so last pit on lap 31. So they're actually only about 15 laps from pitting as Tate Lytle comes down pit road. I do believe he will call it a night.
they've had so many cautions there. I think they'll be able to run for quite a while.
Most definitely,
They'll be able to run at least 20 laps.
they'll have a bit of an advantage. As you see Latham Joyner go to the high side with help from Josh
Man,
Adams.
we about had another wreck there. Holy smokes.
Things got really tight as we see.
Holy smokes, we're going to... Man, have these guys learned nothing?
No. They have learned nothing, Chris.
Yeah, that sounds like a driver. I'm wondering if somebody's going to be saying that about us here Wednesday night or next Wednesday, and they're still trying to wreck there.
That's exactly it. You know, next...
Oh, is Robin getting turned here?
Andrew Rucker going to the high side here, leaving Josh Adams as the lead car with help from Ethan Stanley on the outside row.
92 in the 64.
Wow.
Man, these guys need to calm down.
Chris, this is nutty right now. The only one that wanted to see a caution right there was Jacob Adams, because he was hoping to get a lucky dog, get back on the lead lap. He's still holding strong there.
If you want to see a caution right there, I mean, you might be in that wreck.
That's also a factor, as the front group has pulled away a little bit. You know, just taking a look through the field, I do want to shout out Josh Smith, started back in 41st all the way up to 5th right now. Jess Story right behind him, up 25 spots as well. I don't think anyone will beat this biggest mover if he can stay in the top 10. Brandon Ultra up 42 spots because he did not put a time in. Currently running in 9th, so that's one heck of a gain by Brandon Ultra.
The last time we were at Daytona?
What was that? Sorry, Chris?
Who won the last time we were at Daytona? Get into the playoff?
I don't remember.
Brandon Ultra.
Sure. I don't actually remember Brandon. I was not here for that race. That is why I don't remember. That was the one race that I missed when Brandon Ultra took the victory in the Grand National Series. I believe that was on Halloween night, if I'm not mistaken. So we see a little bit further back, we do see Brandon Ultra getting a push from Cameron Rich. We saw Cameron involved in the caution with Stanley and Frankenfield not long ago. He's looking okay as Josh Adams jumps up to the high side. Looks like he's back to working.
Is that Cameron Rich in the 17?
That is Cameron Rich in the 17. That's correct.
With sponsorship from Pit Pass Network there, looking great. And you mentioned Halloween night. You know what else comes full circle? What else is relevant with Halloween?
Candy.
That is the last time the Bengals have lost.
Well, that's sure. Congratulations to Joe Burris, or whatever his name is.
I think this week Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs can call him Daddy.
Well, the only person we call Daddy around here is Dave Huckleberry. And he is the sponsor of this modified number 84 machine of Waikanato. But in all seriousness, congratulations to your Bengals team.
And he's typically my guy that I talk about when I'm going to talk about the Bengals. He missed it. Alex, I'm sure, is running the full season. He'll be in some races, most of the races moving forward, I'm sure.
Yeah, unfortunately missed the race tonight. As we see Josh Adams working the high side with help from Ultra and Cameron Rich. Doing a nice job up there, trying to get a little bit of a view here from our drone cam. They're coming up on a lap car, Jesse Rasmus, as he files his way back.
That's an ARCA car. Is that going to be out here tomorrow?
No, that will not be out here tomorrow, and tomorrow is a night race, which will be quite exciting. And just this moment right here is very important for Jacob Adams, as he has to work his way around the Rasmus machine to end up being...
Did you see how slow that Rasmus machine is going? I think Jake's probably passed him right now.
As we see Jacob Adams here, still...
Oh, we just about had a wreck up here at the front. Fody pulled up, Ultra pulled up, and everybody pulled out towards the wall a little bit.
We're seeing...
These guys have learned nothing.
That's exactly... Wow. Did you see that synchronized move by Fody and Robin to jump down in front of Latham Joyner and Brandon Ultra there? That also got sketchy. This is nuts.
And I believe there is some conversation going on between the 45 and the 56 right now.
45, Brandon Ultra. 56, Josh Adams, as Latham Joyner jumps to the bottom. Now on the high side, it is Josh Adams with Cameron Rich, Trey Holmes, Dustin Dewar. That's the top 4 on the high side, as we have Latham Joyner, Tyler Fode, Josh Robin, Brandon Ultra on the bottom. Johnny Thomas hanging out. He wants an opportunity to play as well, and you know Johnny is a very, very accomplished super speedway racer.
He's been in a couple wrecks, but just a little update for all of you Tate Lytle fans out there. Great driver. It's going to be a championship factor, but they have loaded his machine on the truck and headed home.
Yeah, Tate Lytle, unfortunately, out of the event rather early tonight. Unfortunate for him, but you know he's going to be a contender for that championship at the end of the season.
Well, for sure. That's why I said, he's going to win some races. He's going to be a factor and everything. Daytona, it's great to run good. It's great to set the tone for the season, but you also know it's a good chance to get wrecked. And Tate's a good driver, but I feel like it's been forever since we've talked about him at the end of one of these plate races. He just does not have a whole lot of luck here at Daytona or Talladega.
Yeah, unfortunately, some guys just do not have the luck when it comes to the plate racing. It can definitely be unfortunate, as we see Jess Story there blinking and falling to the rear.
Isn't going to be good, I don't think.
As we see Cameron Rich all over the rear end.
Dewar goes all the way. I wonder if these cars are handling. That's the third or fourth car that I have seen get loose or tight off of 4.
One thing to point out here, Chris, I can see it out of the windshield of Cameron Rich. We are coming up on some lap cars.
You trying to foreshadow something?
This is a pack of lap cars. Last night when we saw this
is the modified pack. Look, we got Jeff Green, Chad Frankenfield.
Last night when we saw this, Chris, it was not good.
Look at that pack of modifieds.
As we see from race control, Nick Massey, blinking warning has been issued to the 29 of Jess Story. We did see that firsthand there as he fell to the apron to let the field by. Bit of a courtesy move by the blinking car, but it's really unfortunate when you are the car that's blinking. There's just really nothing you can do. Josh Robin, we see him kind of working middle lane, high lane there. Trying to get help from Josh Adams, Cameron Rich, Trey Holmes. We see Johnny Thomas going to the top here.
Yeah, not going to get a lot of help out there by yourself.
Falls back in line right ahead of Ethan Stanley, right behind Dustin Durr. As Fode does lead the race currently over Latham Joyner, who's his drafting partner on the bottom here. Joyner's been up front most of the night, as has Tyler Fode and Josh Adams. The rest of the field has really worked their way up here throughout the event. Josh Robin will lead that lap here, lap 71 of 120. We are 50 laps to go here in the McConey Setup Shop 300, the season opener here tonight in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. Coming up on a few more lap cars here in just a moment. I believe one of them may be Scott Haney in the 3 car. We saw him involved in a few incidents earlier on, and unfortunately for him, he will be 5 laps down when they go by him.
I'm not sure if this is going to be a yellow. He is crawling.
I do believe Jeff will be far enough down to tow without causing any sort of a caution, but we'll keep an eye out for that. We do see Jesse Rasimus had a bit of an issue there. He's okay. As now we see the field getting closer and closer to the wall as they go by the 64 of Rucker, Andrew Rucker, that is, as he falls 1 lap down. He's going to try to tack onto the field as we see the field cycling by. Jeff Green has made it to pit road for those of you following along at home, so no caution coming out of the 38 car there as Fode continues to lead over Joyner. We'll take a look a little bit further back in the field Around the 15th position, Dave Carpenter there running with Josh Personette, Gerald Campbell, Harrison Talon, Tyler Pop, Michael Hossak's in there, and we do see Mike Goodman running out there as well. He was on our broadcast for the Clash the other day, had a bit of fun, talked some chicken with Alex Ned, talked some disaster with Harrison Talon. It was a good time, Chris.
Speaking of chicken, that's a lead in. We got a new sponsor that we're going to show off here on Wednesday. It has to do with chicken, so everybody stay tuned and check out Daytona qualifying. What time is qualifying for our 500 there on Wednesday?
I do believe we're kicking off qualifying at 7 p.m. Eastern time. It will be single car qualifying. We're going to carry all of it here on the Elite Racing Network. It'll be myself, and you're going to join me for a bit. Alex Ned should be there as well. And then we'll go into our duels. 2 duels to set the starting lineup for the Daytona 500 that'll run next Wednesday night. Chris, are you hoping to pick up the pole, or what are you hoping for?
I mean, a pole would be nice. You know, we got a good draw. I feel like good enough draw for it. We'll see what happens, but no pressure, no stress this year. So,
if I was
we'll
to tell you right now who's picking up the pole, it'd be this guy. No, it wouldn't be this guy. It'd be this guy.
Josh being a good friend, we've talked about it. The draw, he doesn't believe he's going to be able to get it.
Yeah, he unfortunately did get a short straw for Wednesday night's qualifying. I actually get to go out last this year, so hoping for an opportunity to maybe pick up the pole and have an opportunity to pick up a victory next Wednesday night. Of course, pole does not help too much when it comes to winning the Daytona 500, but take a look here. We got a battle of the Joshes on the front row. That is Josh Adams on the high side, Josh Robin on the bottom. Pusher on the bottom is Tyler Fody. Pusher on the top is Cameron Rich. Some great drives by quite a few guys up towards the front here. Looks like things have settled a little bit since the last caution. Not too much, Chris, but a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. These guys probably thinking about a pit stop coming up. Some guys can't go as far as others, so I'm curious to see if anybody's going to jump in with these guys. But we're just a handful of laps away from pit stops here.
Taking a look at the top 10, Trey Holmes pit on lap 55. The rest of these guys either lap 31 or 39. So big difference in the pit strategies amongst the top 10. Here comes Josh Adams to pit road, and I think he's coming alone.
That is not ideal.
And he may have sped entering pit road as well as he got down really high. Yeah, Josh Adams absolutely alone. New race leader driving the number 17 Pit Pass Network car. That is Cameron Rich. Help from Trey Holmes on the high side. Going to be interesting to see who comes down pit road this next time, if anybody. But Josh Adams got absolutely screwed there by pitting solo.
Yeah, I don't know why he would do that. Josh is a smart guy. I don't really understand it.
Yeah, looks like Josh Adams just now leaving pit road. 40-second pit time for Adams. He may have gotten himself a speeding penalty as well. So it'll be interesting to see as we look at Adams just now coming out of turn number 2. We're going to watch for the field to come up to him shortly. As we can see, the field actually coming off of 2 now. So a little bit of a gap to get to Adams as Cameron Rich continuing to lead with help from Trey Holmes here. I wonder if they're going to drop to the bottom here momentarily as Dustin Dewar closing that hole on the bottom with help from nobody. Just Dustin Dewar. Wow. That 32 looking pretty quick down there.
Yeah, that's Do Good Motorsports. He lost his teammate there, Jeff Green, and out there doing it himself.
He does have one more teammate in the field, Michael Goodman. Actually, a few teammates in the field. He has Dave Carpenter running 7th. Mike Goodman in 19th. Michael Hossack in 20th. So he has a few teammates here with him in the field still from the Do Good Motorsports camp. But Dustin Doer, Josh Robbins
Clear it
currently.
up. Josh Adams did not get a penalty.
He got lucky because he was coming down pretty quick. As you see the field go by Jesse Rasmus, they're about to go by Josh Adams as well. Momentarily, we should get him probably approaching the start-finish line as things got a little close there between Josh Robin. Oh,
Here goes some pit stops.
we have a lot of cars coming down pit road here. Dustin Doer, Tyler Fody, Latham Joyner. Fody running the left side of the pit road, which a lot of guys aren't too fond of people that do that. But it worked out, as we do see Josh Smith. Look, Chris, I've never seen this before when a pack pits. Fody and Josh Smith are sharing a pit box.
Well, I believe there's only 43 stalls. We pitted 45. We started 45 tonight. So I think that's going to be unique to this week in Daytona, starting a few extra cars.
Yeah, it's just very interesting. I've never seen that before. As we see our race leader, Cameron Rich, coming down pit road with Josh Robin. So we have
really fast there.
Rich was very quick entering pit road. We'll see if he gets a penalty. New race leader, Trey Holmes, Johnny Thomas looking to the high side here. Here comes Josh Personette and Gerald Campbell up to the top. Josh Adams staying with the pack. Just taking a look, all of these guys in the top 10 now. Last pit on lap 55, so they are all on the same strategy at this point, Chris.
Yeah, except for Josh Adams, who has lost touch with the leaders there. So he is hoping that these guys stay out and maybe run faster lap times than the guys that are coming off pit road.
And an update, Cameron Rich, no penalty on pit road, so he did not speed, although it looked close. Leading this lap will be Trey Holmes, just by a nose. Actually, it does look like Johnny Thomas took the lap there. The top side a little bit more connected with Adams and Thomas. Bottom broken up a little bit. Holmes and Personette. Personette looking for a little bit of a bump from Gerald Campbell here. David Carpenter joining the battle in the 4th position. That's another guy, Chris, who's really shown his strength in the Pit Pass Network ARCA series this offseason. And, he's showing a bit of muscle here. Of course, we are in the middle of pit strategy, pit stop, pit cycle, whatever you want to call it. But Dave Carpenter looking really good tonight as well.
Yeah, right now these guys at the front, I am trying to watch. Like, Josh is hoping that they can take him to that Fody pack. We will see here as we watch the lap times.
As we cycle through the field here, Trey Holmes riding on board just behind Johnny Thomas on the high side. One of the lap cars there. They're coming up on a group of lap cars here momentarily, but just looking through the top 10, Garrison Hogan's a name that stands out to me. He was involved in some incidents earlier on, still running fairly strong right now, up in the 6th spot. Of course, again, pit cycle is going on right now, but the fact that he's still able to stay with these guys is a big positive for him.
And bad news for Josh Adams. They are slower than the guys that are in the pack out in front of the leaders.
Yeah, Josh Adams, Dave Carpenter running the high side here, looking for an opportunity to get to the bottom. He should be able to get down behind Ethan Stanley. And if he can stay with this train, as he's just going to continue to get cycled out, which isn't good for Adams here, because if that field continues to get that draft, Josh may fall back a little bit further than he'd want. But out front, single file is that lead pack here. Johnny Thomas, your race leader, over Trey Holmes. Joshua Personette running 3rd. Gerald Campbell there in 4th. Harrison Talon running 5th. Garrison Hogan 6th. Chad Frankfield broken as heck on the bottom. Brandon Key broken as heck on the top. Lots of breaking out here. Actually, Brandon's not too broken. He's just one lap down. Michael Goodman running 7th. Tyler Popp in 8th. Michael Hossack 9th. Dave Carpenter 10th as he makes a move on the lap car of Brandon Key. Look at that picture of Carpenter right there, Chris. Showing his racing gear.
Yeah. But now he's got a helmet on. He's a driver.
He does have a helmet on, as we see Nick Indelicato right there running 11th. Ty McIntosh in 12th. Seth Rawls running 13th right there. Showing off his video game controller. All right. Rory Collins running 14th. And Josh Robin 15th. A little bit further back, we now see Tyler Fody. This is the group that just pit not long ago. We got Fody, Robin, Latham Joyner, Wesley Crump right here running 18th. Josh Smith in 19th. Casey Hatch running 20th. Brandon Ultra 21st. And then we have some modifieds that are still running with these guys in RC Anderson, Wyatt Canadle there. We got Cameron Rich in this group as well. And then a little bit further back, Ethan Stanley. Actually, he's with the lead pack. Josh Adams, Brandon Key, Jess Story. And the rest of the field's pretty much out of this thing as Johnny Thomas continues to pace the field.
Yeah, and they are losing time to the guys that have pitted. And so some of these guys are probably aware of that. Just a little bit. They're going to have to push harder up at the front. If I'm Johnny and Trey, I am trying to push as much as I can. Because if you can get just a little bit closer, you'll start getting a sniff.
Now, Chris, how many laps did you say these guys can make it on a tank of fuel?
About 45 laps or so.
45 laps, so they're about 32 into their run on fuel as we see Andrew Rucker dive down to pit road just ahead of the race leaders. So we're probably about 10 laps from a pit stop for the race leaders. So see Josh Personette duck out a little bit.
Yeah, I think some of these guys are realizing, hey, we are going to have to do something. You know, we're going to have to do something to run these guys down, because if we don't run these guys down, that's race over. Like, right now, you're losing time. You're going to come out behind them. They need to make up about 2 or 3 more seconds to come out right with these guys.
See Trey Holmes ducking out now. Yeah, these guys are starting to shuffle a little bit. As you see Tyler Popp coming up to the Trey Holmes machine. It is possible that Holmes was getting hot there as we saw him pushing Johnny Thomas. These guys are just trying to cycle through to the next best pusher, which in this case is Gerald Campbell. And they're going to go 2 wide here. Trey Holmes on the high side, Tyler Popp, Josh Adams.
That's what you want. You want 2 wide. If you can run 2 wide, you want 2 wide.
That's exactly it, Chris. That's always kind of been the strategy call in these cars. You want to go 2 wide if you're trying to break away from another group. And, you know, we see that Robin and Fody group, they're just coming off of turn 2 while the Johnny Thomas group is going into turn 3. So it's only about 3/4 of a straightaway separating these groups right now. So if you're this lead group, you really want to take advantage and try to pull away as much as you can to try to build a buffer before coming down pit road, because you know that as soon as you pit, these guys are going to be right there. They're going to pass you.
Went faster than they've went for a while. But this is different. Like this right here, 2 wide's faster, but in the Cup car, you're going to see it in the dual. And in the 500, single file is what you want to be in the Cup car. There's side draft on the Cup car. That's the newest modeled car. And side by side is well slower than somebody lined up.
As we see Tyler Popp pushing Trey Holmes. Holmes to the bottom there. Going to wait for Johnny Thomas to get to his rear end. Is now Josh Adams pushing Tyler Popp. Ethan Stanley right behind him. A little bit of gap on the bottom to Gerald Stanley. Josh Personette has come down pit road. He's going to come down solo. So he's going to hope for a caution to be able to have a chance here as he enters his pit box. These guys are got to be getting close to a pit stop here. Last pit lap 55. And of course, we are 30 laps to go in today's race here. The Maconi Setup Shop 300 at Daytona International Speedway. coming up on Scott Haney. I do believe this will be the final lap that we see Haney today, as I believe he just went 6 laps down, which of course on super speedways in Elite is the cutoff. New leader Tyler Popp, Chris. Scott Haney
starting to do
entered.
it. They got to make more time though, but they are doing it.
Absolutely. Scott Haney just entered pit road. He is done for the day, as we mentioned. Unfortunate for Haney, looks like he's going to come home in the 37th position here tonight. So we do still have 36 cars running right now, 24 on the lead lap. First car 1 lap down is that 56 you see right there, Josh Adams. He's doing exactly what he needs to do to have an opportunity to get that lucky dog should a caution come out before they lap another car.
Well, Josh, I'll tell you right now, it's not worried about the lucky dog. He is worried about closing the gap to the people in front of him. Yeah, that's his chance to win. He's got to make up some more time. And they've started coming the other way with it and making up time, but they just aren't coming fast enough.
Yeah, those guys have to come a little bit harder if they want to make it to the race leaders. As we see Josh Personette here, he has rejoined that second pack, so he's going to remain on the lead lap, but back up front, of course. You see a bit of a shuffle with the high line coming through. That is now leading the pack is Josh Adams, with Johnny Thomas on the high side with help from Gerald Campbell. Tyler Popp to the back bumper of Adams. So a bit of a jumble at the front here as these guys trying to shuffle around, find the best opportunity to pull away as they are coming up on a bunch of lap traffic here shortly. I did just see them ahead of the leaders, as Johnny Thomas is your race leader right now, lap 94 of 120.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get to these guys unless they really pick their lap times up. But you've got Johnny Thomas, Joe Campbell, and Josh Adams up there. And you got Trevor Elam. Or excuse me, Trey Holmes, not Trevor Elam. You got Trey Holmes up there. Those guys know how to draft. And they know how to make time. And they got a little bit of slower cars. That's going to help pull them a little bit. They're going to have to pick up a couple 2 or 3 tenths a lap over what they're running, though.
That's exactly it. That, like you mentioned, that is not Trevor Elam. That is Trey Holmes driving the number 88 machine there, running third on the bottom. We have Josh Adams currently leading the pack. Tyler Popp, Johnny Thomas battling for the race lead. I just tried to add a third Adams brother, making Johnny part of the family. I'm sure they wouldn't mind too much. Johnny's a pretty cool guy, but these guys are trying to work their way up to that second pack, and they may have an opportunity to get there, but I don't think they will before pit stops.
And they all live in Ohio, by the way. The Adams brothers and Thomas, maybe he is, the long-lost brother.
So if they're the Adams family, is he like Cousin It? Or what would you say is Johnny Thomas's role in the family?
I'm not sure. Not sure what Johnny's role would be. Johnny's very even keel. He's a cool guy.
Just look at that picture of Johnny Thomas. He is a cool guy.
He's the fun uncle.
He definitely is the funkle, Johnny Thomas. He's such a cool guy. He's so fun to hang out with and be around, and he's always a great addition to the races here.
Belly Up Sports has been with him for a long time. That's a great partnership over there. I've had the pleasure of getting to know some of the people over there at Belly Up Sports, and it was a lot of fun to work with some of those guys. I worked with Chairgaten and whatnot, and those guys are about to start their new season, and Johnny's continued with them, and Erska, and about to get back going again. Little 5-race mini-series. Works really, really close with Chad and Elite. A lot of crossover for the drivers and whatnot, so a lot of stuff going on for Johnny, and about to get way more busy for him.
Yeah, Johnny definitely about to get a lot busier, especially on Mondays, as he's always putting on a good series over there at Erska, and it's something that a lot of drivers from here go over and do typically after our Grand National Series. So be interesting to see who goes and attempts that this season, as These
And I can't
guys,
speak for you, but if it wasn't for Urska, I wouldn't be an elite. I was in Urska first, and then I came to elite and was brought here by some people from Urska. So without Urska, I never made it to elite.
yeah, I was around back in, I believe it was 2018, 2019. We were part of another league, and then it kind of branched off into both Urska and Elite, and we all kind of ended up there. Just a note, Shift Esports has come down pit road. It's in Delicato. Seth Rawls, Rory Collins joined them as well. Ty McIntosh and Jacob Adams also came down pit road with them. So that is 10th through 13th, as well as a couple other guys there. RC Anderson and Casey Hatch now coming down pit road.
Yeah, these leaders are going to be pitting here anytime.
I'd say within the next 2 laps, these guys will come down pit road. As you do see 22 laps to go. Just give us one quick moment here.
I'll tell you this. Johnny, and this time by to the bottom. I was going to say that was going to be real interesting there.
As we see Johnny Thomas on the bottom, just behind the
They're pitting. They're
947.
gonna be on the outside of lap. Oh, this isn't going to work. Oh, the lap cars are getting sideways. They're blending down with them. They're not trying. Oh, wow, that was
That could have
chaotic.
been really bad. Johnny Thomas,
Johnny.
big lock up there as we see a bunch of cars come down. Trey Holmes, Garrison Hogan, Harrison Talon, Dave Carpenter, and Johnny Thomas. Those guys all coming down pit road. Tyler Popp, Joe Campbell, Michael Hossack, and Mike Goodman, the last 4 remaining on track. I would expect them to come down this time. And Josh Adams, just an update on him. He pit on lap 76, so he can stay out a little bit longer. Don't know that I would expect him to. As
Josh
this,
Adams?
this appears to be his help right now. So
He's out here till the end. He pitted 1 lap early.
Adams
Remember,
pit.
he left
Here
early.
comes
Yeah.
Pop, Campbell, Hossack, and Goodman. So this should cycle back to Johnny Thomas being the race leader, with Harrison Talon in second, actually.
Well, that other group is passing him on the backstretch right now.
Yeah, as we do see the other group coming through. Tyler Fody, Latham Joyner, Josh Robin, Wesley Crump, Josh Smith, Josh Personette. He pit by himself, and this kind of paid off, Chris. Josh Personette, that is he's going to cycle back to 6th place. So we
Yeah, it's
see-
going to be real interesting here what happens.
And, just taking a look, Tyler Popp and Gerald Campbell, as well as Goodman and Hossack, are still there. We're waiting. Here comes Fody and Joyner. But looking at this group right here, 20 laps to go, we have a couple groups of teammates throughout this pack. It looks like Pop and Campbell will join this group. Johnny Thomas and those guys are not too far behind either, just right behind. But they have RC Anderson out in front. They have to shuffle him behind. But as I was saying, Tyler Fody, Josh Robin, those guys are teammates. Latham Joyner, Wesley Crump, they are teammates. Josh Personette, Cameron Rich, they are teammates. So we have a bunch of teammates in the top 8 of this thing, and then they gain even more once this Johnny Thomas group comes. So we may see teams start to split off as we get closer to the end of this thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I just don't know how this is going to shake out. I feel like Josh Adams is pretty smart. I don't know why he made a dumb move to take himself out of a shot to win.
Yeah, Josh Adams, update on him. P17, help from Ethan Stanley. They're a fair bit back from
their
this
shot
battle.
yellow.
Without a yellow, absolutely. With a yellow, those are 2 guys to watch. As we see Josh Personette trying to lead a train on the high side here. Help from Cameron Rich and Tyler Popp. So 2 mountain man drivers trying to make their move up the mountain here with help from Tyler Popp, the independent. As we see Wesley Crump come up and block the outside lane, get in front of them, try to work their way up towards the front, where
but 18 gets
Oh,
into
we're
the
going.
80. Oh, spinning.
Caution's out. Looks like only Josh Smith really has a negative effect from that one. But what did we just say about Josh Adams, Chris?
Needed a yellow.
What did Josh Adams just get, Chris?
He got the yellow he needed.
There you go. So we will watch this here, see what brought out the caution flag here on the Mark J. Rebilas, RebilasPhoto.com replay machine. Watching that number 80 machine of Josh Smith on the bottom. I believe we're going to watch the 18 of Josh Personette. Yeah, he gets down maybe a little bit of netcode into the side of the Smith machine. Wow.
Tell you what, Brandon Ultra. Great wreck avoidance there.
We're going to be watching that for Brandon Ultra's on board. That's amazing that these guys did not hit Josh Smith.
Yeah, it looks like the 18 just got loose, getting down into one there. Came down and got the 80, and Ultra just did a magnificent job.
So you see right there, a little bit of a hip check from Personette onto Smith. And here comes Smith spinning. Brandon Ultra. Looks like a little bit of contact, Chris, on the right side of the Ultra machine, but that could have been a lot worse for him.
Yeah, that race car's just fine. A little bit of scuff, that's all right.
That's pretty darn awesome. As we are 17 laps to go here in the McConey Setup Shop 300 at the Daytona International Speedway, season opener of the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series. We're going to go to commercial break one last time, and then we'll take you right to the finish here on the Elite. And we are back here at the Daytona International Speedway. It is the McConey Setup Shop 300 here in the Rebilas Photography Rebilas Photography Grand National Series, not the replay series, but of course that was TA Services that we just heard from. Blueg Marketing is the marketing department for small businesses, small business owners. Blueg is your biggest fan. That's another great premier partner we have here, as well as our newest premier partner, Worldwide Technology Raceway, WWT Worldwide Technology Raceway, formerly Gateway International Raceway and Gateway Motorsports Park, is a motorsport racing facility just east of St. Louis, Missouri, close to the Gateway Arch, featuring a 1.25-mile oval, a 2-mile road course, and a quarter-mile NHRA sanctioned drag strip, as well as a kartplex, which is a state-of-the-art karting facility. Check them out today, Worldwide Technology Raceway. This is our fifth caution of the day. Tyler Fody, your current race leader over Latham Joyner, Josh Robin, Wesley Crump, and Josh Personette. Just behind them, Cameron Rich, Tyler Pop, Brandon Ultra, Johnny Thomas, Gerald Campbell, the top 10 here. We're coming to 15 laps to go here. And it has been a interesting race, Chris.
Yeah, it started off clean. It got a little wicked crazy there for a bit. Had a lot of small wrecks. We haven't had a big, just absolutely huge wreck to this point. We've had a bunch of like 5 to 8 car wrecks. So I'm curious if everybody's running out here is going to give us the big wreck, or if we can run this thing clean from here on out.
Absolutely. And I do just want to give a quick shout out to our race sponsor here today, McConey Setup Shop. The McConey Setup Shop LLC is a company founded in May 2020 based around the iRacing simulated racing platform. They cater to customers of all ranges of skill, from brand new to the service to multi-year users of iRacing, such as ourselves. They offer setups for 14 different cars each week, all of which can be found at McConeySetupShop.com. That is MACONI setupshop.com. McConey Setup Shop is the only registered LLC providing setups on the iRacing platform, making them the most trusted name in iRacing setups. Be sure to follow them on Twitter at McConey Setup Shop, like their Facebook page, and grab all your setups by the top building team on the service over at McConeySetupShop.com. Thank you to Jeff for coming on board and sponsoring tonight's McConey Setup Shop 300 in the Rebilas Photography Grand National Series, as the pace car is about to be off, and we're going to go green with 14 laps to go.
Yep, getting ready to go green. There's a mixed bag of cars with no damage, some damage, and a lot of damage. It's time to see what happens. Fody brings them down. Blue Egg Marketing, Tyler Fody, partnership up there. Of course, like you mentioned, Blue Egg, big sponsorship for the league. We haven't mentioned Elite Racing Network and Chad as well for the league. He's running. Very busy week for Chad. But Dave Huckleberry, he has been staying locked in with us, even though he's on a vacation right now in Europe. So if you're somewhere over in Europe, find Dave, take a picture with him.
Absolutely. Go to England, find Dave Huckleberry, have a cup of tea with him. If you don't like him, throw a cup of tea at him and tell him it was from Chris.
Wait a minute, why does it got to be from me? I didn't tell anybody to throw anything at the man.
As we see right now, it is a battle side by side. Latham Joyner, Tyler Fody, they are pinching right now, as we see just behind them Wesley Crump and Josh Robin battling each other. And just behind them, of course, two teammates, Josh Personette, Cameron Rich. So a lot of great drivers up front here. 13 laps to go in this 120 lap season opener. We've seen a lot of damaged cars. We've seen a lot of guys rebound from incidents. And, these guys that are here right now, Josh Personette to the bottom.
Well, I guess he thinks they're going to wreck again. That's what that looks like.
As they go 3 wide behind him, currently 4 wide on the racetrack. Josh Personette looking for a hole.
This is why this doesn't work. This is why you don't do that. Look at that. Now, if they don't wreck again, he is done.
Josh Personette going to fall all the way back. He will have no drafting help. Hoping to see an incident is Josh Personette. But right now it is Latham Joyner and Tyler Fody leading the race once again. As now we see Wesley Crump blinking from 4th place on the outside. Cameron Rich behind him. Brandon Ultra up there as well. These guys are trying, man. They're pushing. We're coming to 11 to go, and you know that intensity is about to ramp up even further, but you can see it.
Yeah, these guys are racing as hard as they've raced all race. Bodie's losing the lead to Latham.
As you can see, yeah, exactly as you called, Tyler Fody losing the race lead to Latham Joyner there. Now he's going to get help from Wesley Crump. A little bit of a push back. Josh Robin moves up a little bit, try to break a bit of that air. But
the two guys who are trying to work their way from the back, Josh Adams and Ethan Stanley, are saying, let's make a third lane and work together. And Brandon Ultra is running up high enough to give them a little bit of a tow. Brandon Ultra is not gonna is helping that lane. He is not running low as he needs to.
As you see Garrison Hogan come up to block.
Yeah, see, Josh ain't going to like that. As a driver, you say either get up in front of me or stay out from in front of me. Don't come up and try to force me to stop.
I think the thing that may anger Josh most about that is Garrison is one of the
And Ultra
affiliates.
moves up too.
Yeah, Brandon Ultra moves up top as Tyler Fody does gain the lead back barely over Latham Joyner. Looks like Joyner has a little bit more help from Robin.
If I was Josh Adams, I would drop down behind Gerald Campbell right here. Oh, and that's what he's doing. Yeah, I would drop down. I don't know if Brandon Ultra can lead us to the front.
Brandon Ultra trying to lead the high side here. We'll see if anyone moves up. We may see someone like a Wesley Crump move up for an opportunity. We are 10 to go, coming to 9 to go here at Daytona. It is Tyler Fody, Latham Joyner, 3 wide, deep, multiple rows deep here of 3 wide activity.
Oh, man, here, look at Ultra coming on the top.
Brandon Ultra pushing on the high side, trying to
Harold
get
pulling
up
out
there. Oh, nearly contact from Garrison Hogan and Cameron Rich as they battle side by side. Jumping up a little bit further to our blimp cam here, trying to get the best angle of this action here. Tyler Fode breaking through in the middle. I'm sure he's going to drop down, but will Wesley Crump go with him? And that was close.
That was very close.
Brandon Ultra looks like he had a little bit of a wiggle on the high side there. Wesley Crump now getting a push from Cameron Rich up through the middle of the field here. Latham Joyner, Tyler Fode on the bottom with Josh Robin in the middle lane there. Joyner looking to come back up. Wesley Crump getting help from Cameron Rich, Johnny Thomas there. Michael Hossack as well, doing a heck of a job right now, running inside the top 10. Josh Adams right there. Expect him to go back up to the high side soon enough. He wants an opportunity to win.
Wow, the leader of that lane just about got wrecked. We have just 7.5 laps left here in the first Xfinity race of the year.
The intensity levels are massive right now. We see Cameron Rich looking up to the high side a little bit. I believe he's just trying to get some air on the nose of the 17. I don't know who that is that just jumped to the top. I think it's Ethan Stanley. Yes, it is. Stanley to the top. No help. Josh Adams going to close the door. Get to the back bumper of Michael Hossack here. Ethan Stanley is still trying to see what he can do, see if anyone goes up with him. But at the front, Latham Joyner in the middle, Tyler Fode on the bottom. It's Wesley Crump pushing Joyner. That's his teammate. Josh Robin is pushing Fode. That's his teammate. So we got teammates lined up top and bottom here.
And we've got a lap car that's going to be very, very tight squeeze here. Ethan Stanley's going to have to bail a little bit.
So we see Ethan Stanley falling all the way back.
6 to go here at the stripe.
Tyler Fode currently leading the race over Latham Joyner. Joyner now edges out in front. The top 10 right now, Joyner, Fode, Crump, Robin, Rich, Pop, Thomas, Talon, Hossack, Holmes. That's your top 10. Josh Adams right there as well, doing a heck of a job. Mike Goodman trying to work his way into the top 10. Everybody wants a piece of this, Chris, and I think some of them may end up in pieces within the next couple laps.
Let's not talk about what may happen. Let's talk about the show these boys are putting on as we come to 5 to go here as they come out of turn 4. Side by side, all the way back. Just a great show here at the end. Hopefully it's 5 green laps. I'm waiting for this third lane. I think the third lane's going to have to come back again for some of these guys towards the middle of this. Well, really, anybody outside the top 5 or 6 is probably needing that third lane.
Yeah, I'm looking around the Cameron Rich and Johnny Thomas area here for a top line to produce. I think Cameron and Johnny have worked together a fair bit before throughout races as we go by Chad Frankenfield here. I think he's getting towards the
contact with the 24. The 56 is in it. The 70. This is the
big one. All of Shift Esports involved. Garrison Hogan involved. We're going to go to a green white checkered here shortly. But you know what? Look who benefits from this. Josh Personette. He fell off the field, but he's going to have a chance to do it again. As you see Fode out front over Joyner, Josh Robin, Wesley Crump, Tyler Pop, top 5, Cameron Rich, Trey Holmes, Harrison Talon, Johnny Thomas, Mike Goodman, the top 10. So going to be interesting to see what happens here. We'll take a look on the Rebilas photo replay machine and see what brought out the caution. You say it happened around the 25. Is that correct, Chris?
Yeah, it's the 24. It looks like it just got loose.
24, Hossack was just outside the top 10. As you see there, Nick Massey on fire tonight. Tally issue to the 24. Let's back that up a little bit further.
That took out a bunch of guys.
We're watching the 5th car in line on the high side, the 24 of Hossack here. coming up on the 15 of Frankenfield. You can see the 24 stepping out already a little bit. Gets down a little bit of arrow into Trey Holmes. That just sends him sliding back up into Chad Frankenfield. And then everyone's involved right here. Josh Adams does not escape this one, unfortunately, as he has some damage on board the 56. But I think he's going to stay out. Chris, as we're coming to a green-white checkered here, I'm going to ask you this, and I know it's tough at super speedways, but who do you think gets it done here in these 2 laps of green flag racing?
Well, I don't know, man. 2 laps here is it's hard to predict. Tyler Fode's been out front all night. It's going to be hard to pass Fode. He's going to be lined up with Josh Robin right behind him on the bottom. Do they cut a deal with Latham? Maybe the 3 of them work together. Those are the 3 cleanest cars in the race. So maybe they work out a deal and say, we're just going to work together. But at the same time, if you're Latham and you want a shot to win, you probably got to throw that out and just restart on the outside and hope you can do it. Because if you get down between them and you make a move, Robin's probably going to go with his teammate, not with you. So your chances of winning, in my opinion, decrease if you work out a deal with the 40 to let him back to the bottom.
The one thing to keep in mind here, too, is you're going to have Fode and Robin line up. That's like Norman Motorsports. And you're going to have Joyner and Wesley Crump line up. That is Stay Tuned Esports. So those 2 are teammates on the high side.
Chevy and a Ford, they need to figure out what manufacturer they're running over there, the Crump team.
Yeah, absolutely. As those 2 are teammates on the high side there. So we have a group of teammates here on the first 2 rows. So who was your pick to take the victory, Chris? Did you make a pick?
I think I said Fode there when you just asked. I think I like Fode. I like the control in the race. With 2 laps, Robin can lock on. I like that group there, that tandem over the other, because Wesley has got some damage, and those other 2 are pretty clean.
So you are going to go with the 40 of Tyler Fode. You know, I do have one of my drivers up in the top 10, but I'm not going to go for my driver here.
Are you trying to make me feel bad for picking my team owner? I mean, he's the cleanest car in the race.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, because I think Fode is a great pick. I'm going to go a few cars behind him.
You going Harry?
I'm going to go Harrison Talon.
So you're expecting a wreck.
He's going to team up with Trey Holmes somehow. They're going to get going, and they're going to pass these guys, and Harrison Talon is going to take the victory here in the McConey Setup Shop 300, the opener in the Mark J. Rebilas Photography Grand National Series tonight.
I feel like for that to happen, you're going to need them to wreck, because I don't think you're passing that many cars, especially when they're teammates. The 16 and the 03 are probably going to be committed to each other. The 40 and the 8 are going to be committed to each other. And the 40 and the 8 are the two of the cleanest cars here. The 40 is the cleanest car here.
You may see the 17 and the 88 try to work the high line, potentially, to work their way up past these guys. So I think we may see a 3-wide right from the start.
Hot enough. If you pull out to the 3rd line, you're giving the race up.
It's going to be interesting to see here, Chris, as we're about to hand it over to Barney the Flagman to get us underway for a green-white checker finish. I believe this is a natural green-white checker, Chris.
Yes, I believe it is. These guys are close on fuel as well. No, this is attempt number 1.
This is attempt number 1 of the green-white checkered here. We're going to go up to the drone camera, try to get the best image we can of these battles.
Oh, they're wrecking!
Contact. There's a wreck. There's a wreck. Wesley Crump, Tyler Pop.
Oh, but they're wrecking on the track. They're wrecking. We're going to get another caution.
Caution's out on the speedway. Ty McIntosh, Brandon Key, Josh Smith involved. We'll take a look on the Rebilas Photography replay machine, see what happened. Does look like Brandon Key now blowing up. So it starts up ahead, Tyler Pop, Wesley Crump. That's completely different. Then we see Ethan Stanley go through the middle, gets into the 80 of Josh Smith, sends Smith down into RC Anderson, Ty McIntosh, Brandon Key, 62 machine was involved in that as well.
Another one. He survived.
Jake Adams, I think, got a piece of that too.
32. Yeah, Jake, his front end left the ground. He hit so hard on somebody.
As we see Brandon Key coming to pit road, blown up. So just to re-stack things here, show you what is what's going on out here, we'll take a run through the top 20 on the track. Tyler Fode, currently a race leader over Josh Robin. Latham Joyner in third. Cameron Rich now finds himself in fourth. Trey Holmes in fifth. Harrison Talon up to sixth. Mike Goodman in seventh. Johnny Thomas here in eighth. Gerald Campbell up to ninth. Ethan Stanley rounding out the top 10. Dave Carpenter finds himself 11th. Seth Rawls there in 12th. Wesley Crump now back to 13th. Tyler Popp there in 14th. Rory Collins in 15th.
On something here. This all of a sudden has turned into a fuel mileage race. Look at these fields. Look at this on the screen. Look how far they are. Every one of these cars at the front are shutting them off. All of a sudden, man, I don't know if they got enough for the second green white checkered.
So one thing to point out to you here, Tyler Fode last pit lap 79. Josh Robin lap 80. Latham Joyner lap 79. Cameron Rich lap 80. And
they all only took enough fuel. Like, those guys only took enough fuel. You did not fill it up. That's how they were able to blend back with them.
That's right.
Short filled the car. So everybody's in the same boat of being like, oh no, we might run out.
Trey Holmes right here. He last pit lap 99. I believe he also took a little bit of fuel. Harrison Talon has his car on here, Chris. Everyone else running basically with their cars off. Johnny Thomas, tight on fuel, clearly. Gerald Campbell, same thing. Ethan Stanley, same thing. Dave Carpenter has some fuel. Seth Rawls, saving. Wesley Crump, I believe he's saving as well.
I am reaching out to some drivers to see if anybody will tell me how close they are on fuel, but I am not getting anything back.
I'm gonna work the phone line here, Chris. Why don't you keep us busy? I'm gonna give a call over to Fueled Up and see how Trey Holmes and Harrison Talon are doing on fuel.
Yeah, I think, man, it's going to be close. And now, at this point, if somebody does run out of fuel in the pack, oh boy, will we see a crash. And Fode is saving fuel. If he is the guy that runs out of gas, boy, oh boy, we'll wreck every car that's here. I think we're going to get one to go. I think Fode is taking the top. That's going to line him back up with his teammate. They have to have cut a deal here. Josh Robin also saving fuel. We are down to just 24 cars on the lead lap. Some of these guys just hanging on.
Just an update for you, Chris. Of course, we just saw across the screen, Tyler Popp got a tally. Update on Trey Holmes and Harrison Talon. Both of them have plenty of fuel to make it to the end here.
Well, them guys in front of them don't. It's close.
It's going to be interesting here. My pick's looking a little bit better here, Chris.
Well, I mean, is he? Because if the 40 runs out in front of his line, I believe your pick's going to wreck right there with my pick.
Well, get your pick out of my way.
He's trying to get every drop. And I'll tell you what, I know them Lake Norman Motorsport cars make some great horsepower. We get some great fuel mileage. He is going to be using every bit of it here, trying to go from lap 79 to lap for the first group to pit.
You can just see it right here. Tyler Fode has that car off again, just briefly turning it back on.
And that's his team. Him and his teammate have cut a deal. Fode's going to get down to the bottom. He's cut a deal with Josh. He's going to come down in front of Josh, and they are going to hope and pray that there's not another caution, is what I'm thinking. I think if we get another caution, I think you're going to see guys have to make a decision.
It's going to be interesting here as we're going to hand it over to the flagman. We're going to keep an eye on the leaders here to see if anyone chokes on fuel.
Here we go, down to the green. Green is out.
As we see here, Tyler Fody currently on the outside. You mentioned he's going to try to jump down. We see Tyler pop in the wall. These guys are hoping it stays green out front because they do not have the fuel to make it another green white checker.
Josh Robin's got a black flag. I'm not sure if they're going to clear it because it did look like he jumped first. It looked like Robin jumped first.
Brandon Key crashing in the back. He has jumped to pit road. We will stay green here. We're coming around to get the white flag here momentarily. Currently on the top, we have Tyler Fody. Cameron Rich is the pusher. Here comes Trey Holmes behind him. Harrison Talon as well. On the bottom, it is Josh Robin and Latham Joyner with help from, I do believe that to be Michael Goodman. White flag in the air. Next flag will end the race. Tyler Fody, Josh Robin, currently your two race leaders. We do see just behind them, as I mentioned, Latham Joyner, Cameron Rich, as well as Trey Holmes and Michael Goodman. Look for somebody to try to make a move here. I don't know if they can, as these guys are going to continue to battle towards.
Just a half a lap to go. Just a half a lap to go. Side by side at the lead for Lake Norman. The 88's going to try to pull to the top. That's going to hurt that middle lane, but I just don't think they have enough to get there. I think they just gave up their chance to win. The question is Latham going to get clear and be able to pull out? They come off the corner. Latham does get clear. He does pull out. Block made by Josh Robin. And Josh Robin is going to win the race over Latham Joyner. They wreck behind him. Tyler Fody, Michael Goodman, Trey Holmes.
Tyler Fody makes it through a race this week without wrecking the leader. He finishes third here tonight. Latham Joyner second. Josh Robin takes the victory.
I believe they are going to look at the 8-car Josh Robin. I don't know what's going to happen there, but he definitely left first, and you cannot leave first in the box.
We'll keep an eye on this. If that happens, that a penalty is issued, we may see Michael Goodman move up into the third position. So we'll keep an eye on that. Potentially a change for the race winner. We will wait for word from our race controller, Nick Massey, here to see what happens. But as of right now, Josh Robin, your unofficial race winner here in the McConey Setup Shop 300.
It looks like he is going to celebrate with the burnout. We are waiting for word. Nothing's been said.
As we await word from race control, we will take a look at the unofficial results here tonight. We will bring that up here on screen for you. In just one moment, Chris.
Yeah, it looks like Josh Robin is pretty sure he won the race.
Josh Robin thinking that he took the victory tonight. We'll see if that is the case. So we have a little bit of an issue showing. There we go. Unofficial race winner Josh Robin takes home the victory potentially tonight. Latham Joyner second. Tyler Fody third. Michael Goodman comes home fourth. Great finish by him. Trey Holmes comes home fifth. Cameron Rich in his series debut comes home sixth. Gerald Campbell seventh. Ethan Stanley eighth. Harrison Talon ninth. Johnny Thomas 10th. And just outside the top 10,
Chad Frankenfield, the 8-car is the winner.
As per Chad Frankenfield, Josh Robin the winner. So Josh Robin takes home race number 1. Just continuing on the results real quick. Dave Carpenter, Garrison Hogan, Tyler Popp, Wesley Crump, Jess Story, the top 15. Josh Personette, Wyatt Canadal, Seth Rawls, as well as Nick Indelicato and Ty McIntosh rounding out the top 20. And the rest of your results here on screen.
Not a great night. Great start to the season for a lot of guys, Pro Edge included there. They didn't have a great night. Some of these other guys didn't have a great night, got caught up in some stuff. But like you said, Josh Robin, Latham Joyner, Tyler Fody, those are guys that are going to be in the title fight all season that can win anywhere. Got Cameron Rich up there, Trey Holmes, Michael Goodman with a great top 5 run. David Carpenter just missed out on the top 10.
As we do see in the waiting room, we have multiple, well, actually all of our podium finishers standing by. We're going to go ahead and pull in Tyler Fody for an interview with Chris Wright.
All right, we are now joined by third place finisher Tyler Fody. Tyler, I thought you cut a deal there with Josh at the end. Take us through that, and do you think the 8 should have got a penalty? Because it definitely looked like he left first there. I know he's a teammate, so y'all worked together very well all night. Take us through your race, and do you think the 8 should have maybe had that penalty?
Yeah, I mean the race was pretty good. Managed everything. Track position was pretty important. I don't know how many laps we led, but it's got to be up there because it felt like I was up in the top 3 most of the night. And then the pit cycle went pretty well. Everything cycled out. And yeah, I was working with Robin all race long, being the only teammate I had in the race, but it was pretty good to see the teamwork going there. As far as the end of it, the last couple of restarts, I had noticed Latham was kind of struggling getting through the gears on the restarts, and I just figured on the last one there, if I would have taken the bottom, Latham was going to be behind me. And Robin and I had already talked. We were just going to go all out. We weren't going to try and play any games with the last restart there, so we were both going to be going together. But yeah, that was my decision to take the top just because Latham was kind of struggling getting through the gears, and I figured I might have a better shot with Rich, which honestly I think it was going to be working out pretty good. I was dead even with Robin down the back heading into 3, and I think it was Trey got to his right rear and just pulled him off of me right at the end, which I didn't account for anyone going 3 wide, which hindsight I probably would have just stayed at the bottom, but without them going 3 wide, I think we would have had a pretty good shot at it, pretty close finish. I didn't see the restart. I know they were talking about it, but just from my point of view, I went right on the green. I always had a nose on Robin, so I don't know what that was all about. But yeah, just happy that one of us got it after the race we put on.
Yeah, it was. It definitely looked like on the replay. I was surprised that they took the penalty away. He definitely left first. He tried to check back up, but he definitely took off first and got some momentum going. I don't know that it was the difference there. Like you said, they took you 3 wide down the back, but I was surprised to see it lifted. But any sponsors you want to thank, shout out you want to give, and great recovery after your start to Speed Weeks last night, and you're able to come out here tonight and pretty much dominate the race. And looking ahead to Wednesday with qualifying and the duels, what's your outlook there for the week?
Yeah, well, it was a little unfortunate last night. We got the pole in that as well, but I had a banner problem, so we had to go to the back and then just got caught up in all the wrecks. So that was the plan tonight, was to stay in front of all that. Worked out pretty well. And that's really going to be the plan going forward for Wednesday night also. Maybe sweep the poles. That would be pretty cool in all the series. But yeah, just try and keep it up front as long as we can, avoid the trouble. Shout out to Blue Egg Marketing always, Pit Pass Network, Hux, KMP Graphics, Robin for running with me tonight, and then you guys up here in the booth for broadcasting it.
Well, all right, Tyler, great run tonight. Look forward to getting to work with you on Wednesday night. I'll be out there. Well, maybe. It depends on how the duel and qualifying shakes out. Be great if we can just put our cars on the front row. What do you think?
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
All right, great run tonight, Tyler, and we'll see you on Wednesday night.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Chris, that was Tyler Fody, the runner-up here tonight. Next, we're going to talk, or the third place finisher, sorry. Next, we're going to talk to the runner-up. That is Latham Joyner, finishing second here. Latham, do you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. Unfortunately, you came up just a little bit short once again. Last season, 2022, B, you also finished runner-up in this event. What do you got to do differently to get it done next time?
I just got to get I guess some better pushes. I don't really know. I think that was probably the best result there since Fody and Josh, are teammates. So I figured whenever I pull up, I probably wasn't going to get the full extent of trying to get pushed. So I tried to do it myself there. But of course, at Daytona, you really don't have that much time on the front stretch coming to the line. So.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Unfortunately, unlike Talladega, you're kind of limited on the space you have getting to the line. But you ran well all night. It was pretty much you, Tyler Fody, up front most of the evening. We saw your teammates have some issues there. Wesley Crump late in a wreck. Scott Crump got in some early incidents there. So it was you carrying the banner there for Stay Tuned Esports tonight. And, it's really tough on these super speedways without a teammate. So when you're out there, you just kind of looking for whatever line is the best moving line to go with when your teammates are out of this.
Yeah, pretty much. I've done so much plate racing. You can kind of tell based on who's at the front. If you know who they are, obviously, you can kind of tell which line's going to be able to move forward and which lines kind of do that revolving door where everybody kind of stays the same. So whenever me and Fody kind of got the leading and then Josh got up there to be pushing Fody, it was real kind of easy just kind of go back and forth with them, and nobody was being like real aggressive and blocking or anything or worried about stuff like that. Um, but yeah, his teammates, they got kind of screwed there. He got I don't know if he came down or he got turned or anything on that restart or whatever happened, but that was just bad luck. Of course, Scott's bad luck always continues at the plate races just about, except for that one. I think we had a photo finish, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
And looking ahead to Wednesday night, of course, it is qualifying for the Daytona 500 as well as the duels. How are you feeling heading into that event? And do you think you got a shot at taking home the pole?
Yeah, I think I'm better at the trucks and Xfinity than I am at the next gen, but I had that good race last year where I was able to come from 14th with RC and finished, I think, third or fourth in that one. So that one was pretty good. Hopefully, I can survive. I know I can qualify in pretty good, and then obviously race pretty good. I think I can do better than most of the people, but uh, I think if as long as I have the luck and then just stay out of trouble, I think we'll be pretty good.
Most definitely. And Latham, just before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Oh yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Brinkley Hefner Racing, and then Stay Tuned Esports, and then I want to thank Elite Cuts for everything they do, and Excalibur Racing Engines, and obviously Lowe's. I couldn't be here without them.
Most definitely. That is Latham Joyner, your runner up here tonight. Latham, congratulations on a great start to the season.
Yes, sir. Go Bengals.
Chris, that's
Prove
exciting for
that.
you.
Right there, baby. Go Bengals.
What's the saying? Who are they? As we now bring in our race winner here tonight, standing by with Chris Wright is our race winner, Josh Robin.
Well, Josh, you only show up to so many of these things. You're busy on the farm. Tonight, you made the start count here in the Xfinity car. We're going to see you on Wednesday. Speed Week's off to a great start here for you, getting a win, working great with your teammate. Take us through your race, and how nervous were you there when you got that black flag?
Oh man. Well, all right. So I got an EOL for the start of the race. Went to the back, and it took me a little while to get to like the top 10, maybe like halfway through the race. I finally got in the top 10. I got some stage points in that second stage, and so then sort of coming to the end, fuel was on my mind, but I was pretty confident. Unless we got like another green white checkered, then it would have been iffy. But yeah, that restart there, I don't know. Not sure why I got the black flag because I didn't really jump it. I was behind Fody the whole time, so I'm not really sure what to say about that.
Well, with the new iRacing restart procedure, if you leave first, even if you give it back, it gives you a black flag because you can't leave, you can't go before the leader. And on the replays, it definitely looked like you went first, but then immediately gave it back. So I was actually surprised they took the penalty away from you.
Yeah, I did look at the replay. Did notice that where hit the throttle just a little bit, and then I gave it back and whatnot. But they cleared it, and they said they're going to look at it after the race. So we'll see if I still get the win or not.
Well, I asked Chad, and he said it was yours. He said you got it, so
Oh,
no takebacks, right?
yeah, we're good. We're good. Next week, we're good.
So how's the farm doing, man? Tell us a little bit about why you can't make all these races that everybody else can make.
Oh well, Honestly, not much about the farm. It's just I've lost a lot of interest in iRacing the past year or so, and I just really haven't been keeping up much with it. The only enjoyment I have on iRacing is plate races, and I don't know, but I'll try to make more races. I'll try to do the full season.
Yeah, you're a teammate now. You got to help us out. We need you out there. We need another car.
That's right, I will. Oh yeah, for sure.
So before we let you get out of here and celebrate your win here in Speed Weeks, tell us a little bit about what makes it happen and some sponsors and shout outs you want to give.
Well, got to shout out to Lake Norman Motorsports. This is my first win with the team. This is my second season, and it's been like 2 or 3 seasons since my last win, so that's good to get that out of the way. And to be honest, for the sponsors, I don't really know who the sponsors are this season, but thanks to them and to the race admins and to you guys for the broadcast.
All right, Josh, great run tonight. Congrats on winning here during Speed Weeks, and I look forward to getting to work with you as a teammate here moving forward on Wednesday night if we can get lucky enough to get in the same duel or maybe share the front row. Kick Fody off. I told Fody I want to be on the front row with him, but somebody has to go. It's got to be him, right? It's me and you on the front row.
Yeah, it'll be you and me. We'll do something with Fody's car. I don't know.
We'll make it illegal or really slow or something.
Yeah.
But see you later, Josh. Congrats on the win, and look forward to seeing you in more races later this season.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
Well, Chris, that was our race winner, Josh Robin. What an opener here in the Mark J. Rebilas Photography Grand National Series.
Yeah, Josh just committed a driver error right there in the interview. I set it up for him to say he didn't leave early and whatnot, and he admitted to leaving early and trying to give it back, so... Man, that might open the door for Chad to do something, but you gotta stick to your guns. Like, I don't know, man. I didn't leave early. I don't know what the replay showed, but I didn't. Like, I gave him a chance to just keep selling down the river, and he was like, I did leave early. Can't admit that. Can't admit when you made a mistake.
That's exactly it, Chris. That's exactly it. But, that'll do it for us here on the Grand National Series opener. But looking ahead to the rest of the week, tomorrow night here on Elite Racing Network, we are racing the Pit Pass Network ARCA Series at Daytona, 80 laps under the lights there. So be sure to check that one out. And then Wednesday, 7 o'clock in the Joint APS Cup Series here on Elite Racing Network, we are doing qualifying for Daytona 500 as well as the duels. And then Thursday night, something new here for you on ERN. It is the Warriors for Peace Classic Series presented by Rebilas Photography. So Mark's just sponsoring everything this year, guys. So just be a big fan of Mark J. Rebilas and come here on Thursday night. Check out the Motor Racing Prince 250. It'll be 125 laps around Auto Club Speedway in the Lotus 49. So something cool to check out here, Chris. And that will do it, everybody. We will see you back here on tomorrow night and just about every other day this week. So have a good night, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.